Alright, you've got to see this angle. This is something to pay attention to. Can you see that wrench in there? I'll try to sneak it up there. There's a wrench right in there, a tiny little wrench trying to take off a bolt. I'll go from the top, which is right there. And it's a huge pain. This wrench is moving like 1/4 inch at a time. It's tiny, and that's one of the more annoying aspects of this. You can see trying to manipulate in that area is going to be very difficult, especially if you have bigger hands or fatter fingers. So just to get the stock off, it takes some patience. And then once you loosen those, these clamps will be loosened and the exhaust just pulls right off. But I mean, it's pretty sticky. Even on a newer bike that's just got a couple thousand miles on it, you gotta put some WD-40 or some sort of silicone or something on there to loosen it up. It makes a huge difference. The way these are set up are better. It's just superior because this is fixed. On the Vance Hines system, this isn't fixed. This turns into an open bracket in itself, where a nut has to be affixed inside, so you can come on the opposite side here and screw into it. And it's just manipulating those pieces that really is the annoying part of this job. So the stock exhaust is superior in its setup for that one reason. You can see the exhaust here. This is what it looks like on the Vance Hines system. It's an open bracket here, and you basically have to use your fingers or another tool to get a nut here, and then approach it from the other side to affix this bracket to this bracket here on the motorcycle in that tight space. And this is very small. You can't get, I couldn't get one finger in here. That's how narrow it is. So there's two ways really to do it. One way was to get the bolt close, get the nut close, I mean. Use a long screwdriver and pin it down around the area where the bolt's going to pass through, and then just with trial and error you try to find a point where it's going to give and connect, and eventually it'll hook up. That's definitely more laborious. Another way that I did, I think is pretty helpful, was I got some super glue and I put a very thin film away from the threads on the nut, just on the underside of the nut, and I basically just stuck it up in here before I affixed it to the bike. Otherwise you'd never get it in the right place. So you pre-stick them basically, align them with the holes, make sure it's nice and secure, press on it for a few minutes, and then you proceed to putting it up against the bracket with this nut temporarily affixed or loosely affixed. I mean, it's super glue on metal, so what's it going to do? At that point it's lined up, and you just put it over the hole and the bolt's already lined up. You can drive it through. Yeah, I don't even know if you can hear me anymore. I may have to get a new mic for this. it's I mean, even the idle is a lot louder. It's just deeper and, well, it's just louder. It's just, I don't know how else to describe this. It's just louder. A lot louder. It's a whole lot louder. It's not like, oh, it's a little louder. It's a lot louder. You guys can't claim you can't hear me. Yeah, that guy is like, I'm getting out of the house. Thank you. Oh, that's fun. I wasn't wearing earplugs a lot on the Harley before, because on the S1000 the hardest thing was basically the wind noise, that high-pitched wind noise. So I was always moving too fast, basically. So I kept the earplugs on that bike. On this one, I just gotta put the earplugs in now. It's just, I'll go deaf pretty quick. I can feel it. There's actually a protective device within your ear after you're exposed to loud noises. It's a little muscle that sort of, say, controls the noise. Makes things less loud. It's actually controlled by cranial nerve number 7. And I don't know if you guys have heard of Bell's palsy, where your face starts drooping on you, but that's one of the things you can use to confirm a Bell's palsy if you get what they call hyperacusis, or it's louder on this side. Anyway, that fails after a while, and it's not, you know, it can only work up to a certain point. This is well beyond that protective mechanism. To be honest, I'm not even sure why we evolved with it. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense in terms of evolution, because the humans really weren't exposed, you know, naturally to noises that should be that loud, as far as I know. But it's no joke. You just don't want to be one of those guys with implants in your ears. It adds complexity to your life and discomfort, so I can see what people are talking about with the exhaust now. I didn't really have anywhere to go from before, to never owned a Harley without a stock exhaust. And yeah, it's pretty satisfying. It enhances the experience. That pulsation that I was talking about in my last, I don't know, 2 videos ago, that's, you know, just that low rumble is also enhanced. So far, big fan. Except for that little part of the install I talked about. If you look online at the website where I bought the pipes, it was Revzilla, you can see the reviews, and everybody talks about getting those nuts on. So that's why I addressed that fact. I'm not going to drag you through every bolt I put on there, because that's all it is. It's unscrewing some things and then putting the bolts back on. It's all very sort of common sense kind of stuff, and the directions certainly suffice. Low throttle, higher RPM, because I know the map is empty there, so I'm just kind of keeping the throttle low and allowing it to build. Or get up to 4 grand or so. Sorry, I'm doing auto-tune.
those D-cell pops. Yep. Sound is fun. It's just another layer to the experience. See, now I feel like I'm less on a parade and I'm more just part of a racket. Just a racket. In the confines of endless Accords, Corollas, and Camrys. You guys are freaking killing me, by the way. Oh, Elantras, I'm sorry, double.